So sometimes it's nice if you can do a bouquet when you're talking to a bride, or if you're doing a presentation. You should get out and do presentations if you're not doing them. Who does presentations? You guys do presentations for consumers? Hello? Do we do presentations for consumers around here? Say yes, for goodness sake. Yes, do them. If you don't, you should. Because that's the best way that you can let your clients know what you're doing. And sometimes, you know, I'm a little precocious sometimes, and I just want to have some fun. So I know, it's like therapy for me to let you all know that. But I like to go out in the mall sometimes, and I'll stand and do a bouquet. They say, oh, who's that for? Is that for someone special? Yes, it sure is. Oh, I'd love to have one like that. Oh, well, you want this one? I've sold more things just by standing doing them in front of people. But it lets them know that you can do this sort of thing. It's all well and good for those of us who do television or whatnot. They can see it in action on TV. But to stand and do a bouquet for someone, do it. Don't hide what you know. Don't hide what you can do. These are beautiful flowers. And this sort of look, this old country design, this heirloom look, very simple with those beautiful lilies. Nestle those. You just sit right in there. Do you know whenever I do that? Remember Bob Ross off PBS? Yeah. It's your world. You want to just put that happy little flower right in there. You just put that happy little flower right in there. You know, he could paint. I think he smoked more dope than paint, but you know, don't matter. That old fuzzy hair. Great, and then just use a little bit of that. Oh, what's that? New. Dusty Miller. Oh, how exciting. Don't you remember when Alstroemeria was new?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wasn't that the cure?
Yeah.
Oh, Alstroemeria, oh my soul and body, Alstroemeria, wow-wee, what's that? And it was all scraggly and skinny looking and half dead, but oh, that was something to have. If you had Alstroemeria, you were rich.
We used to have something called Nile lily, and then we started getting Alstroemeria, and boy, that looks like Nile lily, huh?
Yeah, guess what? It was. And I'm just going to tie that again with a little bit of that raw muslin.
My favorite, though, is Saladego. People are allergic to the building rod. Saladego doesn't bother them at all. It's the same flower. But that looks all the time. Oh, no, this is not golden rod. This is Saladego.
Oh, perfect.
I'm allergic to Saladego. Oh, okay.
That's just mean, Dot.
I know.
That's mean.
I know.
You're a mean lady.
That's the way I was raised.
So I would do this. When you work with these, I swear I never, very rarely ever would unroll one of these on stage. I won't do it. Because it always, always gets tangled up and someone says, and they laugh at me. And I think it's not funny. Because it's annoying when it gets tangled up. And the more it gets tangled, the more you screw around with it, and the more nervous you get, and the next thing you know, up goes the donkey. And it just doesn't work. So just by using a little bit of this beautiful button wire around it, it makes for that wonderful heirloom look. Doesn't need a whole lot. But again, you know, when we talk about, I don't know, people when their daughter's getting married on the weekend and they've got to have everything done by Wednesday because they've got no time, for example, this doesn't take that much time to do a beautiful bouquet. You know, you can do that and, oh, your nails done and your hair done and, oh, get all whirled and curled and tarted up. But that makes for, isn't that pretty though? Simple, simple, simple. What are you doing? And again, to present that as it should be presented. See this. You can buy this in bunch. This is an entire bunch of these beads here, these wonderful, wonderful pearls. Well, I said, aren't they pretty? Well, this one bounced up and down. I thought, something's wrong. And she said, she was doing one of these. Go ahead. I'm not touching those. But look what she made. Isn't this beautiful? Just a very simple, gorgeous bouquet. Just to let that cascade down. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, really. Let her know. Yeah. Yes. And then she went around, she took flowers out of one of my arrangements to put in it, which I thought, okay, now she's pushing it. But just by using one of this bunch, she's made a small armature, a little bouquet, just by making loops of the diamond wire, leaving the stems down to hold as a bouquet, as a holder. You could actually flip that right around if you wanted to make it as a ring holder if you wanted. You do all sorts of things with that. And just gluing in 3 of those wonderful Phalaenopsis orchids, keeping it really simple. Makes for a gorgeous, gorgeous bouquet. Beautiful look. Isn't that lovely? Simple, simple, simple.
And on you, it's just...
For that, I'm not sure the price of this, and it depends on your shop. You know, it's really difficult for me and really not fair to everyone else to start talking about prices of what I would charge for it, because I'm a bitch and I would charge a lot. I'm not cheap. So, and it depends on what your markup is in your store, what you have to pay for rent, what you pay for your salaries, that sort of thing. So everyone's got that sort of different margins for what they need to have. But for this, charge for what you know.
The other thing.
You go to a go ahead.
This was very, very simple to do. I mean, I just literally unrolled the row of diamond wire and then worked it together and then did 2 or 3 pieces down to the center and anchoring. But I know how to do it. So, should I charge just a little bit because it only took me 15 minutes to do it? No.
No, charge for what you know.
Absolutely.
You go to a dentist and they scrape a couple of things off your tooth and charge you $100, because that's what they know how to do. So they've learned. And that's taken us a long time to learn that. Beautiful. Great job, Dot. You know, I know we're running a little on the late side tonight because, of course, we got started a little later because of the Florists for Change. And it was great organization. Great to see a bunch of people supporting that. I wish we had a little bit more of that going on in our neck of the woods. So more power to you for doing that. You guys are doing all right, though. It's probably going to cool down to, I don't know, maybe 97 by the time. Civilized, hey? Wow, when I called my mom, I said, Mom says, are you all right? And I said, yeah, it's hot up here, hot down here. She said, oh, is it? I said, yeah, I think it was 37 Celsius. That's hot. Isn't this pretty? Look. Do you know, the thing that what Dot did about this, I said, just do something simple with that. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do something really simple. But it's a very simple piece, just by using some of the permanent vines and just to make an armature around the base, a wreath around the base, and bring that right up into the arrangement, using a lot of the reindeer moss in through it, just to add some of the color, to bring the color through, bringing the color right through inside of the container with that candle, and using the reindeer moss on the inside, using the permanent botanical of the calla lilies. After they're in, they've been glued in with a little bit of the reindeer moss, adding some fresh fern that will last for days like that ahead of time. And just before it goes out, she's attached those beautiful gardenias, just on little glass tubes, and they hang on. They're plastic tubes, aren't they? Just little plastic tubes, and they hang on so wonderfully well. Beautiful piece, just a gorgeous thing for a very romantic sort of wedding. Very romantic wedding. Isn't that lovely? Just lovely job. Lovely job. And again, this sort of thing can be done in advance with all the vine work, so you can show your client and explain to them just by getting a few flowers. Get a couple of carnations if you have to, and just show them what it's going to look like when it's done, and say, we can do that with whatever flowers, whether it's carnations or whether it's roses or whether it's all permanents. But really pretty, pretty piece. Isn't that pretty? This is so pretty. If you want to do something very tall for someone very tall, don't be afraid of calla lilies. Sometimes I'll get these little tiny, tiny girls come in and say, I want a big arm bouquet of calla lilies. And I look down at them and say, no, you don't, darling. No, you don't. You must be statuesque. There's a young lady that works for me. She's actually in Las Vegas today. She was so excited. With hair and heels, she's 7'2". 7'2". And she is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. I've got 2 of the most breathtakingly beautiful young ladies that work for me, both of whom my husband, who's a hairdresser, has hired them both at one point to one to do television modeling for his salon. And now Sarah has gone off to Las Vegas because one of the folks that David works with is competing in an international hair competition in Vegas today and tomorrow. And Sarah's gone as the model. And my God, when her hair's all done up and I shove a big flower in it, I look at her. She is beautiful. But you know, she would carry something like this, because like I say, she's 7 feet with hair and heels. So it carried across your arm, and when you show someone like that, show it as it's going to be carried. It's not going to be carried like this. They're not dead, so they're not going to carry it like that, you know. This isn't one of those cartoons, those Looney Tune cartoons that they're laying like this dead, but they're going to carry it like this. Or, better yet, let them carry it down. Let them be relaxed with it, because that's a beautiful look. Just let them carry it down. Also, you'll notice I finished the back of it off, finished the stems off, using those beautiful brooches from Smithers Oasis, attaching that, putting them in with some glue, and they will stay and be absolutely glorious for that. So don't be afraid to finish it off. Don't forget to finish it off, because this is an important part of the bouquet as well, especially if that's going to be carried as a cascade, or whether it's across the arm, however you like. It's very, very simple, and it's an easy bouquet to carry. Easy bouquet to carry. Isn't that pretty? And then at the reception, you can have these wonderful tall cylinder vases, which are so nice. This is how they're sold, by the way. Sold in packages of 6. You'll see them up by the till, actually. You can have these wonderful vases to use at the reception, just with a few either fresh, or in this case, the permanent callas. That was what was left over in that bunch of flowers that I had there. So I just have that in with a few of those glitzies in. And then for the reception, you can just use the bouquet for the buffet. But isn't that pretty? That's so pretty, because that's balanced. That's not going to go anywhere. You know, so once it's on there, it stays, but it really makes for a really cool look, doesn't it? Really, really cool look, because once you've got that, I mean, how nice, because then you can still have your Ritz crackers and squeeze a snack, and little Vienna sausages maybe, and bridge mixture over here, and, you know, maybe squares, that sort of stuff, and have it all charted up so beautifully for the reception, you know, and it's not going to take away from everyone's view. So there, lovely, lovely, lovely. You can just carry it just like that if you want. Thanks, sweetheart. Yes, my darling. Look at those vases. Oh my God, are they fabulous? Oh, love those. I might have to get one, because, you know, there's nothing I enjoy more when I go through customs between your country and mine, and they say, do you have anything to declare? And I say, oh, I certainly do. I certainly do. Wouldn't that be great? I'd carry that right on, march that right on. Oh no, sir. Oh yes, ma'am, I'm taking that. But look how beautiful it is to use with those gorgeous, aren't those orchids killer? Those are brilliant. Those are smoking, gorgeous orchids. But isn't that a pretty arrangement? Add a little bit of sparkle. When you've got sparkle in a container, bring the sparkle up into the arrangement so that one doesn't compete with the other. Okay? Because if this was just all white, this would fight with it. Also, by having this cascade down, we all know an arrangement should be, could be, and must be 1.5 times the height or width of the container to make it balanced well. Well, in this case, I've cascaded it down over the side. So suddenly that container is no longer this high, it's that high. So it is balanced. Do you see what I've done? Okay? So you do that just so it will bring that weight line down so it's not top heavy. It doesn't have that heaviness going across the top. But by using that as a piece for a reception, and then you can take another one, thank you very much. And this is great to use at the guest register, perhaps, with the live orchids. Look how great they look together. Can you see the quality of that permanent flower? You know, I feel like those Palmolive commercials. Which one's the mother? You know? You know? But those orchids, they're beautiful, they really are, they're lovely. Those fresh orchids are great. And this is just 2 plants that we took apart and just literally just wedged right in that pot, just to make that beautiful look. Gorgeous, gorgeous, but the permanent botanicals sure make a difference these days. Boy, oh boy, they're not like they used to be when I had hair and bought flowers a million years ago. And every once in a while, you'll still see some old girl that's got plastic flowers stuck in a pot. Oh yes, do you have the waxed fruit as well? Bless her heart. Dot, did you fall asleep, sweetheart? No. Oh. Wait a minute. Okay, thank you. Yep. See, and in this case, I use both. What are you doing way over there? You close over here. People are watching. All right, you want to go? Go! Go! But you see, by using the fresh and the permanent, even that rose, look at that permanent rose in with the fresh ones. Gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Gorgeous. Don't be afraid to mix the two. Don't be afraid to mix the two, especially if you've got good quality. If you've got crappy quality permanents, don't. Don't. Really. You know, it's nothing worse, is there? You know, you see someone and they've cheap doesn't make good look any better. Cheap makes good look worse. Okay? So don't bother. So, but by having those together, I just wanted to show how beautiful it was. And you can upgrade that as well by having feathers. These feathers are on sale. 15% off white ostrich feathers.
Are they real?
Are they real? Yes, look, they're real, look. And they're real feathers. They're right off the bird's arse. Do you know, where was I the other day? And I had peacock feathers. And they said, are they real? I said, yes. I said, what do you mean, are they real? She said, but did they really come from a peacock? Yes, they came from a peacock. A live one? And I thought, how far can I go with this? Anyway, I explained to her that the birds molt and they take them off so they don't die. And oh, thank goodness. But then I thought, now I'll tell her the story. I had a boyfriend who used to work at the Calgary Zoo when I lived there. And every once in a while, he'd come home with a big armful of feathers, usually peacock feathers. And I said, what happened? Oh, one of the peacocks got in with the bears. I had just a great big jug of them. And you had to wash some of them. There was a little bit of, sometimes there was a little peacock still left on them, you know what I mean? But you know, you can just keep adding feathers until you're done, as much as you want to, okay? Isn't that pretty? But again, those containers, are quite glorious. Ostrich feathers. Ostrich. You know, like the big ostrich. Mm-hmm. Did someone say Roadrunner? Roadrunner was. Yeah, it really was. Never mind. No, Roadrunner. Toot toot. They didn't have big feathers like that. But look at this pretty too. Isn't that lovely?
That container is
Dot made that, and gorgeous, gorgeous container. Those compote containers are beautiful. Very, very simply done with those orchids and roses. Isn't that glorious? Very pretty. Wonderful for a centerpiece. Wonderful for a wedding. Very, very clean. Very, very natural looking, and just radiates, just decadence, doesn't it? Gorgeous. And again, by mixing the traditional garden types of flowers in with some orchids, you really upgraded that look from a very country sort of look to a very sophisticated look as well.
usually that's what we're seeing.
We're seeing that
We're seeing in aggregate, so we'll probably start doing that.
we are seeing a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you my feather story.
Sure, come on up and tell this feather story.
My husband is a hunter.
Talk
and
close to my mic.
I've got my own mic.
Not for the camera.
Oh, okay.
Over this way, darling.
Okay. And he went to a preserve where they raised pheasants. So he brought me this huge bag of pheasant feathers. They were gorgeous, but they were wet.
Oh.
So he put them in the dryer, in a bag. And we opened the dryer, and poof! We had an explosion. I do mean an explosion of pheasant feathers all over that kitchen. I'll bet, we don't live there anymore, but I'll bet there's still a little pheasant feather hanging out there. So I've never seen so many pheasant feathers in my life. It was hysterical.
You should have hung them out on the line. Wouldn't that have been funny?
Yeah, that would have been even more fun.
Yeah, it's had it all hung out on the line. That's lovely. Do we have anything left in the back?
No.
Are we done?
We are done.
Because I was going to say, I think that's a lot.
Unless you want your oasis in the...
Yes, give us
Yes.
that real quick. I want that. I want that. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your night and day to spend some time with us. It's meant a lot. It means a lot to me, and it really does, to know that we can get together as florists, get together in our industry, and to celebrate what we do, what we know, and how we can share each other's good, bad, and otherwise. I want to take the time really quickly as well to mention one quick little tip. I love to give little tips. So you learned the ranunculus one, right? That was pretty cool. You learned the garden rose one. That just pissed someone off, which is really cool. And here's the thing. You know when you get a glass vase and they've got that terrible ring of evil around it because we've gone out on a rental, usually a clear glass one, and it sits there and it will not come off, and you bleach it and you scrub it and you do all sorts of things? Here's what you do. You take the old piece of foam that you've got from another rental or whatever, and you just use it like a Brillo pad. 4 or 5 swipes around the inside of that glass, and it comes out. Believe me. Believe me. This works. It's got no abrasive. It's abrasive, but it's not, it doesn't scratch. And it'll take, I know, it's true. You're going home tonight. Here, scrub the toilet. Got no scrub and bubbles, but I'm telling you, that is the cat's ass, girl. That works unbelievably well. I was so impressed. Dot, I want to thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your friendship.
You got that, buddy.
Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your design skills. Thank you for your wealth of knowledge and talent. And thank you, most importantly, for sharing it with these people, because this girl knows her stuff. She knows her stuff. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Ooh. That always happens when I'm around a woman. Hey.
And I'd also like to thank Smithers Oasis for sponsoring
Absolutely.
this evening tonight. And how about this man, Neville? Isn't he awesome?